What is going on, everybody? Welcome to DSM Pre-Game Live. Eagles Bucks wildcard weekend wrapping up here live on the DSM-Media Philadelphia YouTube channel. Guys, first and foremost, if you are new to the channel, if you like the content, if you want to be interactive throughout tonight's show or any of the shows we host here on the channel, please support by smashing that subscribe button. It is the best spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up like my man Darius is doing here in the comment section. I am one half of your host tonight, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. Keys to victory, game predictions, much more coming your way. Drop your score predictions, drop your standout stars in the comments along here with us throughout the show. But my man, we've made it. It's been a long wild card weekend, an intense wild card weekend, capping off here with the Birds and the Bucks. Let's get to it.
Hey, cheers, brother. Yeah, I'm happy to be here finally. It feels like today's been the longest day ever for me, honestly. Because I'm really excited to see what these guys are going to come out here and look like tonight down there in Tampa Bay. I can't say anything else about it right now, man, without getting too into it, as we will throughout the show. But man, yeah, I'm excited to get after it. What has transpired over the weekend has only made me more excited about getting into this game and the Birds taking the field, because the opportunities have opened up here, right?
Yeah,
they have. There's a window that has opened in the NFC in the playoff picture here now, and I think as an Eagles fan, we should be excited, but we should be cautious, right? We should be cautious on the other end of that as well.
It's like Marshall Lynch saying, temper that excitement. But hey, man, this might be the last one we get to do of the year.
This is it, man. This is where we find out who they are. This is the playoffs. There's nothing else to hold back for, man. No more excuses. It's time to play, and we're going to find out who these guys are tonight. So I am excited about that.
And to your point, right, to kick off here, for the last couple weeks or so, we've been looking for a pulse of this team, right? Looking for a sense of pride or heart. I mean, you had the NFC Championship rematch with all that shit that San Fran and the national media and everybody talked all offseason long. You lost that one. You went to Dallas with the division on the line. You lost that one. You've had Jonathan Gannon come back to town. You lost that one. To your point, Dallas loses the way they did at home in Jerry's World. And now this little window is open where you get Tampa Bay tonight and you avoid Dallas and San Francisco by going to Detroit next weekend and don't have to worry about them until the NFC Championship game. Obviously, that's a couple weeks away and I'm looking too far ahead, but I do feel you. It's given a sense of kind of more urgency here as kickoff approaches, to where, okay, maybe we can put a little bit of something here together when you watch what's transpired over the course of this weekend, man. But let's get into it. First and foremost, injury report. Jalen Hurts shows up, right? Plastered all over social media. 2 fingers taped. No idea what's going on there, but he's good to go. Baker Mayfield's good to go. He's officially active. No A.J. Brown. No Sidney Brown. No Reed Blankenship. 2 safeties down in that secondary, and your best offensive weapon in A.J. Brown is a no-go for tonight, Scotty. Any concern? I mean, obviously there's cause for concern, but when you talk about missing Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown, that throws in an added wrinkle now of who's across from Kevin Byard when you look at the fact that you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Cade Otton, all these weapons across the other side from you.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I was saying, what's the level of concern defensively with Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown both being out, not knowing really who's going to step up in that role next to Kevin Byard tonight?
Yeah, so obviously throughout the week, the reports have been coming out that Avonte Maddox is going to step back there and assume that role at safety. I think the biggest thing here with that is that a lot of Eagles fans, a lot of people that cover the Eagles have been asking for that for a while, asking to see Avonte Maddox back there in that safety position, because his skill set seems like a guy that would fit there, along with playing a little bit of slot corner as well, right? So obviously, with taking Avonte out of the corner room, you're putting him in the safety room. That means you're down a corner. That means you're going to have to dip in to that depth at the cornerback position. And that's where guys like Kelee Ringo stay in the picture, right? You're talking about James Bradbury is already healthy in the lineup. Slay returns tonight. That's going to be huge. That does give me a vote of confidence with Reed Blankenship and Sidney Brown going down last weekend. So getting Slay back, he is one of your captains. I know a lot of people disagree with his mentality and the way he goes about things. And I'm not a huge fan either, right? Like he's a goofy guy, but I do think when you add him back to the secondary, he can at least eliminate one of those options. Hopefully, right? That's what you like to believe in your number one corner coming back. They can assume that position against Mike Evans and limit him. That's what I'm looking forward to tonight. I think he will help the communication along the back lines as well, because who's more vocal and goofy than Darius Slay? I think that is part of his leadership. That is part of the way he can command these guys on the defensive end. So yeah, obviously we have question marks. We've had them all year, right? We've had one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL, and it's really showed its head these last few weeks. But once again, I think you look at the beginning half of the season, the competition level that you were going against, you can kind of understand where points would be scored there. It's when you get into those games against the Seahawks with Drew Lock, against the Cardinals, against the Giants, right, where you give up those points and you really start questioning things. Correct. I think one piece of that puzzle is Darius Slay, though, man, and that is the guy that was missing against those bad teams, and that is how your defense can go from maybe bad or below average to terrible or the worst. And I do think Slay's going to help a lot tonight, man. I'm hoping.
No, I'm with you, man. And you need something to grab onto, right? Something tangible or a player coming back that you can go, okay, they at least have to be a little bit better in this department, right? So we'll see. And I get it. I get that guys are just hardwired certain ways, right? Jalen is stoic, straight face, all business, right? Slay, comedian, always joking around, keeping it light.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for that sense of urgency, that sense of pride tonight from these guys. So maybe that is the way Darius Slay leads, right? Maybe he keeps it, whatever in the locker room, and that's how he communicates with his teammates and everything. But I need to see a sense of urgency from this defense.
I agree.
Man. So let's start with our
licking their chops, man. Should be licking your chops when Green Bay knocks off the 2 seed for you. Like, licking your chops. I get it. It doesn't change the trajectory. San Fran's always going to be there. But it takes one of those juggernauts out of the picture, man. You're talking about Jerry World. I know you can't look forward. You can't look past the Bucks at all, man. But I do think that things happening like that does let you know it is playoffs right now. Everything is on the line, and it can be over in a millisecond. And that goes both ways. So I really, really need to see the Eagles show up tonight, man. But I'm ready to get into it with you.
Yeah, let's get into our keys to victory here, man.
Nervously rambling.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. We got a while, right? We got over an hour till kickoff, so we can do whatever we want hanging out here right now. And guys, like we said, don't forget to keep dropping your predictions for tonight's game and join in on the conversation. But my first key to victory, Scotty, I think it's very simple, right? A lot of the conversation is going to be defensively focused, right? Because that's been maybe more of the issue for a larger part of this season. But I'm looking over on the offensive side of the ball. And I'm looking at Jalen Hurts rolling into Tampa Bay with 2 taped fingers, not throwing a ball since last Sunday up until this past Wednesday or Thursday. I'm looking at A.J. Brown being out. I'm looking at all of these issues. And I go back to week 3, and the Eagles already have the blueprint.
Yeah.
The Eagles know what they need to do. They ran the ball, 38 or 40 times against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the first time out, almost ran for $180. DeAndre Swift probably had his best game as an Eagle this season, right? Jalen Hurts was successful on the ground. Hell, they got Kenneth Gainwell involved a little bit. The Eagles were able to move the ball on the ground versus this Bucs defense. You already had the blueprint. Jalen's injured. A.J. Brown is out. You have to establish the run. But, Scotty, do you know what else it does?
It opens up the
path. Alleviates that pressure.
Yeah,
you know what Todd Bowles is trying to do. You know what the Giants and Wink Martindale did last week. It takes away from that. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. What do you always say when it comes to Micah Parsons and that pass rush, right? Run the ball and run it directly at them to make them hesitate, to take them off of that pressure. It's that simple tonight. And I don't know. It's not as simple as, just turn around and hand the ball off. The Eagles do still run it at a very high clip. It's being creative with how you run the ball. It's misdirection. It's everything, right? you have to follow the blueprint you laid out in week 3 and get these running backs the ball and let that offensive line do what they do best, Scotty.
Yeah, you got to imagine the offensive line's going to come out hungry tonight, ready to get into it because they know they got to dominate the trenches for the Eagles to win this game. And you mentioned it, man. The run game is where it starts. DeAndre Swift, you mentioned him having one of his best games. He was 8.1 yards per carry against the Bucs in that week 3, week 4 matchup back in September. So DeAndre Swift's going to be a key part of that tonight. He's coming off his birthday, right? You look for some incentive, some motivation, looking for that contract. This is the season.
Yep.
This is the part of the season where you earn that next contract, where you earn that extension, right? This is where we saw Miles Sanders kind of tail off, and it became the Kenneth Gainwell show last postseason. And to that point, if you're DeAndre Swift, you need to come out here hungry and motivated as well with every single carry that you get, every touch that you get, because 16 carries in that game, right? He didn't get the ball 20 plus times like some people are asking for out there. He got the ball 16 times. He averaged 8.1 yards per carry, and he got 130 rushing yards out of it. He needs to make the most of his opportunities tonight. And that goes for all of these guys, man. There's obviously been talk all week about Quez and, you know, his quotes about Jalen texting him and stuff. It goes from Quez to Julio to OZ all the way across. Goddard, Smitty, all of these guys have to step up in AJ's absence tonight. And one thing to watch there, man, the growth. These guys need to show that they have grown since that postseason when you didn't have AJ Brown, that first year under Sirianni, right? When you took
in this building.
You need to show that you've grown since then.
Yeah.
You should be able to beat this team without AJ Brown. AJ Brown is a hell of a player. You're not going to be able to beat the top tier teams in the NFL without AJ Brown. But the Bucs are not the top tier team of the NFL. You can beat them without AJ Brown. These guys got to step up and show some growth, man. You can't be in the same spot you were 2 years ago, right?
No, I agree. And to your point, right, this isn't a key to victory. It's just something I'm thinking about. Yeah. You can't replicate what A.J. Brown's going to do on a football field. Like you just said, he's special, right? He's a top 5, top 6 wide receiver across the league. But there is an advantage in numbers. And you might be missing your number 1 wide receiver, but Olamide Zaccheaus, Julio Jones, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, DeAndre Swift, you got to spread the football around tonight, man, because these guys, they're not slouches, Scott. Julio Jones and Olamide Zaccheaus are not bad 4th and 5th options on an offense, specifically to your point, against a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, right? We're not playing San Francisco shorthanded. We're not going, against Detroit. No, you're going against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who won 9 games this year and snuck in by winning
29th ranked passing defense in the NFL.
Correct. Yeah. So, advantage in numbers, man. But go ahead. Your first key to victory.
Yeah, man. So we already knocked off one of my keys to victory. That was kind of what you just you talked about, spreading the ball around, making up for that AJ loss, not by one player stepping up, by a big group of players tonight stepping up. But the next one, man, we talked a lot about the secondary to start the show there. I have to focus in on the defensive line where the money's at, right, in this defense. And I'm looking directly at Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. Of course, Jalen Carter, BG, Fletcher Cox,
Jordan
all
Davis.
of these guys can help out. But it starts with Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat. You need to go out here, make plays, man. That's where it starts tonight. You get pressure on Baker, who is coming into this game beat up. You don't think they're going to be saying the same thing about Hurts? They're going to be looking to get pressure. We need to counteract that by doing it ourselves, creating turnovers, creating short fields for our offense, man. And it starts more specifically with Hassan Reddick. Like, honestly, Josh Sweat, good player, great. Hassan Reddick is the guy. He needs to get to the quarterback tonight, and he needs to make Baker's life hell, man. It starts with him. He needs to be a leader out there. And that's my key to victory here, man. The edges have to get home on the quarterback and force pressure. You have to make Baker make mistakes, man.
Agreed. And to be fair, right, like, to come to defense of Josh Sweat and Hassan Reddick a little bit. No, are they being used 1,000% correctly? No, they're not. The coordinators are 1,000%
That's
problem
a big part
and
of it, though.
Question mark. But guess what? You mentioned DeAndre Swift. If he only gets the ball 15, 16 times again, like he did the first time around, making the most of your opportunity. That's what Hassan Reddick has to do. Is he dropping back into coverage too much under Matt Patricia?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Is he dropping back into coverage a high percentage of his snaps? No. He's still lining up on the
Right.
edge and getting to play his position a large portion of his defensive snaps. So you have to find ways to impact this game, Scotty. You and I talked about during the week. This dude wasn't just like a stud, right? This dude was a game wrecker, a game changer last year. He has to find ways to get in the backfield, man. Has to. To Brett's point, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter may be hitting a little bit of a wall. You got to find ways to just turn it up tonight, man. Like, I'm sorry. I know he's a good dude. I can't be seeing, what's his name? Ojomo. I can't be seeing Ojomo and Marlon Tuipulotu out on the field, recognizing them on the field more than I feel like I should, right? They're
and I
obviously
don't think
playing time.
like this is another key right here, man. And it is coaching. Like, it's going to come down to that tonight as well. We can't sit here and ignore the elephant in the room and what everything that's been talked about for the last few weeks that Nick Sirianni has been running this team and the way they've been playing, man. So when you look at the coaching, obviously, I think on offense, open up the goddamn playbook. It's time. Like, if there was no other time to open it, it's now. You're in the playoffs now. You don't have to hide anything anymore. If that was ever a facet of what you were doing this season, right? We've heard the rumors about, they run these QB draws in these situations to see the odds of what the defense is going to. No more of that. We're gonna be versatile with our play calling and show our hands here and start to play some good offensive football. And on the other end, man, it's all about the pass rush once again. Let Hassan Reddick and Josh Sweat do what they're good at. Put your players in position to be successful. That is your job as a coach, and that is what I'm asking for. Obviously, Marshawn Lynch, he asked about Mike Evans. What do they do about him? I don't know. Do the same thing you did when you played him the first time. That's what I would say. Darius Slay is back. That should help. Do the same thing you did the first time. Limit him. Turn it into garbage time. That's fine with me if he scores in garbage time.
Yeah.
But
To Brett's
control him
point,
during the
look,
meaningful
you're down
parts of the
Reed
game.
Blankenship and you're down a rookie in Sidney Brown tonight, right? But Avonte Maddox is back. He's been back for a couple weeks now for the first time in a while. Darius Slay is back tonight. This is the healthiest the secondary's been. If you had to pick, right? Would you rather have Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship available or Avonte Maddox and Darius Slay available? You're going with the latter 1,000 times out of 1,000 times, correct? So with that said, you have to find ways to slow down this offense, and you should be able to, man. Like you said, not only week 3, what did they do about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle? Had success that night, did they not? Like what did they do? There's just, it's in there. That's the part that has frustrated us as fans, and with doing the show week in and week out this season, it's there because you watched them do it the first 11 weeks, right? What did they do with Travis Kelce when they played on Monday night? What they do with Stephon? They found ways to get off the field. They just haven't recently. Now, what changes that? We're going to have to hope to see something, but we'll see, man. So we will see what this defense can do. But to Brett's point up here, like offensively, can you utilize the middle of the field? Can you get Dallas Goedert involved over the middle of the field? Can you hit Julio Jones on a slant for a first down? Can you do these different? Hell, why can't DeAndre Swift line up in the slot and be utilized over the middle of the field on a quick
Get creative. That's what we're asking
Why not?
for tonight, man. I don't know about you. I was watching the Rams last night, the motion that they run before the snap. I mean, I'm just asking for some sort of creativity. You know, the whole swing around that they love to do with AJ Brown when he comes in motion across. Do that with Smitty tonight. Smitty should be that focal point that you move around within the offense. Wherever he goes, that's going to be the focal point of the defense, I would imagine. But yeah, I would say the same thing about Dallas Goedert, man. You got to make a point to get him involved tonight, right? They love to put guys in position.
When's the last time they did that? When is the last time Dallas Goedert's been a focal point
monster game, right? Like 100-yard Goedert game. It doesn't happen.
Hey, an 80-yard touchdown Dallas Goedert game. I can't tell you the last time I've seen it.
I was sitting here. I was talking to my wife, and bless her because she has to hear me vent constantly with my free thoughts throughout a day about the birds because they just run through my mind all the time. Dallas Goedert, man. If you're like ready to extend, go into the next part of your career contract wise,
Why would you?
I don't think I would come back here, man. Like I don't know what his feelings are, how connected he is with the team and Howie and the coaches and whatever. But I don't think I would come back here with my usage as far as it's gone so far. But the Eagles could say the same thing about him health wise, right? If he can't stay healthy, why? So it make Goddard a focal point tonight. I don't want to get too off track here. We want to see Goddard involved tonight because he's a great player. He's a top 10 tight end. I will preach to you that he's a top 5 tight end. I don't have the numbers to prove it right now. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at.
Right. And a little note to Quez Watkins. Please step up for once in your life, man. Taking a page out of Jalen Hurts' book when he talked about that conversation with the corny quotes. Well, you better back it up tonight, bro. I mean, you already basically gave your farewell post on Instagram last week, knowing we have a game to play this week in the postseason.
Pick up the phone.
And here we are with you having a possible extended role tonight. Another key victory to my man. Winning in the red zone. And that goes for both sides of the ball. I feel like there's not a coaching staff between Nick Sirianni and our defensive coordinators that are more obsessed with not giving up big plays and allowing scores off of big plays, right? So let's just assume, for the sake of the conversation, that Baker has success between the 20s. Can you limit them to field goals?
Yeah.
And when you're in the red zone, can we not stall out?
Yeah.
That's going to be a difference in tonight's ball game, right? Because I can't sit here confidently less than an hour before kickoff and tell you I believe the Eagles are going to shut down Baker Mayfield tonight. They're going to get after him. They're going to turn him over, and they're not going to move the ball. I can't say that because I haven't seen it in 9 weeks, it feels like.
Yeah. It's been quite a while. Yes.
But if he is going to move the ball, can you limit the points in the red zone and can you cash in? It's going to be a big part of tonight, man. You mentioned the pass rush earlier. That is so key on so many levels because if there is a dude out there that you need to get in his face and you need to get off of his read and make him uncomfortable, it's Baker Mayfield in the spotlight tonight. He's been injured all week. He's got a little bit of a rib injury. You have to make Baker Mayfield uncomfortable and to stick with the defensive line. Not that it's just on them. It's on the linebackers. It's on everybody else. You got to try to make them as one-dimensional as possible tonight.
Absolutely.
Rashad White can't be coming out here and knocking off an 8-yard run and a 12-yard run and a 5. No, you have to limit this Tampa Bay rushing attack and make Baker Mayfield be the one that has to take them home tonight.
Can I tell you something about that? And this is something that does give me confidence going into this game, despite everything, that has happened these last few weeks and where there is not a lot of confidence to find through the numbers of the last few weeks and what this team has been.
Yeah.
The BUCS are the 32nd ranked rush offense in the NFL. The 32nd, the worst rushing offense.
Sounds about right.
In the NFL, man. And that has been an Achilles heel these last few weeks. That has been the difference, aside from Slay being out, right? That has been one difference with the defense from the first part of the season where they were 10-1 to where they are now, is that they were getting destroyed through the run, quite frankly. This is not a team that should destroy you. That's a red flag. If they're destroying us through the run tonight, then we know we're in trouble, right? That's where I'm at with this team, man. That's what gives me a little bit of confidence here that they can at least force Baker to be one-dimensional, force this offense to be one-dimensional. The edges on the outside and Hassan Reddick, Josh Sweat, they can pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. That is what the Eagles have to do, and it's what they were able to do when they first played the BUCS that first time. So,
and if they're all we're talking about, right? If they're not allowing literally the statistically last ranked rushing offense and what we did last time versus them on offense in terms of running the ball. If you come out tonight and you ignore what you did the first time out in terms of running the ball, you ignore the fact you're missing A.J. Brown and Jalen's fingers are taped,
Yeah.
You're not picking up the blitz and you're allowing them to run the ball down your throat. You know what that tells me? You're not prepared.
Yeah.
And that, my friend, will be the biggest indictment on Nick Sirianni and his football team
You're
tonight.
either
And he
not
will be
prepared,
searching for a job come tomorrow afternoon if they're not prepared tonight.
You're either not prepared or you have given up on your head coach.
Correct.
And with all the
and
reports
both are an
the
indictment.
writing's on the wall.
Correct.
The writing's on the wall.
So,
you have to win this game tonight.
Yeah.
If you, from Nick Sirianni's perspective, in my opinion, you have to win this game tonight.
Agreed, man. How big for you is a quick start on either side of the ball? How big for you is it that whether we defer or we receive, that not only do we not go 3 and out, but maybe we put together a 7.5 to 8.5 minute drive and get points? Maybe we start out on defense and we force a 3 and out right off the bat and look like we're getting after Baker Mayfield tonight. Because to me, that's everything. That to bring that emotion into tonight's game and let it show early on, and whatever Eagles fans are down there representing in Tampa Bay, to get them involved in this game early on is going to be huge. Because if you allow a start like you had against Arizona, or a start you had against the New York Giants, where Tyrod Taylor throws a 25-yard pass on the first play of the game, long night incoming. Long night.
I think there's two things there. One, obviously, it would give us confidence in the team if they can start fast and get off to a great start. But I also think confidence for themselves, man. They are
correct. I was just going to say, forget about us, man.
6. Like, it's not about us; it's about themselves. Like, go out there and prove that you spent this week doing the right preparation for this game, and that you're going to come out here and do what you need to win this game. And the second part of that, man, the Eagles are the more talented team. Right. So if they come out and they play with the energy that they need to play with, then that would say that they should get off to a fast start, and they should win this game. If they don't come out and get off to a fast start, that tells me they're still not locked in.
No.
You got to come out locked in. If something doesn't fall your way, that's different than a guy running wide open in the secondary, right? A broken coverage.
Right.
Like that, it's way different
in the secondary for the 900th straight week, right?
It's different than, Mike Evans going up and grabbing a one-handed pass over tight
a great play, right?
That's going to happen sometimes. But
correct.
It's the blown coverages. It's the easy plays that you give to other teams that, one, lets them build confidence and lets them run the score up on you, which obviously can't happen here. So
correct. And vice versa on the offensive side of the ball. If you come out and the second snap of the game is a blitz that Jalen doesn't pick up and he's escaping and throwing it away for another wasted play, it's the same old stuff. You have to look prepared tonight. I want to go back to this comment by Mrs. Scotty here, because I think it's a great one. Jordan Love looked great. Jared Goff looked great. Jalen better look fantastic. And I get it. He's missing his number one target. He's injured. His knee, his fingers. I get it. I don't care tonight. I'm sorry if that's too harsh. I don't give a flying fuck about his finger issue tonight, Scotty. He has to go out and be better than what he's been providing to his football team over the last couple of weeks. I get it. Your head coach, the game plan, the scheme, the play calls, it's not helping you out. You have to rise above that somehow tonight. I can't have 15 wasted plays and throwaways because you're not diagnosing a blitz. Like, does your coaching staff need to help him out tonight? 1,000%. But Jalen should be able to recognize these things as well, Scotty, and take control of this offense and get them in a position to succeed on each and every play. He has to be special. Again, I know he's got the injuries. I know A.J. Brown's missing. I know gambling doesn't really matter. Do you know what his passing yards are set at tonight and what those odds are on his passing total?
What's up?
225.5 passing yards for Jalen Hurts is set at plus 100. That is sad, bro. We're talking about an MVP caliber player 7 weeks ago. A guy that led this team to the Super Bowl, scored 3 touchdowns himself, had over 400 total yards of offense. And your prop against a bad pass defense is 225.5 yards at plus money. That tells you what's been happening over the last half of the season, does it not? The 183-yard games, the 170-yard passing games. He has to be better tonight, Scotty.
I will say there is a world where he has under that number and the Eagles are just fine tonight. And I think that is a world where they
I am
run the
not
ball
saying that he has to surpass it to win. I'm just telling you, like, I don't know, Justin Fields, right? That was an example before that people were comparing, Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts. And what would we say when Justin Fields threw for 155 yards? That's not what a franchise quarterback does. So, yeah, you're right. They could run the ball 45 times tonight and run it down their throats, and that has nothing to do with it. I'm just saying, he's got to be better.
Yeah, no doubt he's got to be better. And I think the big thing for me is just the turnovers, man. Giving the other team the advantage through those turnovers, whether it's fumbles, whether it's interceptions, they just can't happen tonight. I'm obviously looking for our defense to step up and make some plays. That also means that our offense doesn't put our defense in bad spots. And that starts with Jalen Hurts tonight. While I don't care really about what his numbers look like, aside from turnovers, I will say there's going to be a few points in this game where he's going to have to make a throw in a significant part of the game that's going to be able to win this Eagles the game, whether it's a throw that needs to be made to separate the Eagles to the point where we know they've got control, or whether it's a throw to get the Eagles a lead in a close game. It's going to happen in this game. The playoffs are here. He's going to have to make those plays. We have had the pleasure of watching some of these other quarterbacks come out here and perform. We've seen it through the air. We've seen it with Josh Allen's legs. I don't know if you guys saw that run. That was pretty amazing. That's the type of stuff that franchise quarterbacks do, and that's the type of stuff that I'm looking for from Jalen Hurts tonight. The big plays, you got to make them. There's no way we should leave this game with a conversation around who played better out of Jalen Hurts and Baker Mayfield. That's my big thing tonight with Jalen Hurts, man, and it all starts with him, man. I was coming into this game, offensive player of the game, DeAndre Swift, give him the carries. He needs to get the touches.
With this,
Smitty, get Goddard. No, it's Jalen Hurts all the way tonight. He's got to make the throws. He's got to. It's gonna come down to that, man. And I think he will be ready to go. I'm just hoping the fingers are all right. That's where a little bit of my major concern comes from, but aside from that, I am fairly confident that I will get to see him come out and play like we're used to seeing him play. And I think a big part of that as well, man, if he's able to get in the end zone, right? Like a lot of talk about his stoic personality. Well, I get it from a sense of he used to do dances, show all this swag. It's not about that. It's not about that. But it is a good sign to show that you are in the right headspace in this postseason and ready to dominate, man. It's confidence.
Show that you have a pulse.
Yeah, it's confidence, man, in yourself and your teammates. It's what the game is about at the end of the day, right? If he wants to have a stoic personality, I'm not gonna, bring out the pitchforks as long as he's winning games. But I do think that's part of his nature as well, is to let loose a little bit, man, and enjoy yourself out there as well.
I agree. And they're playing in Tampa Bay, bro. They're playing in Tampa Bay. Doc B chiming in as a PT, as long as they're not a tear with the dislocation, it's just soreness and pain tolerance. Well, we better hope that Jalen has a high threshold for pain, man. And with anything that has to do with his knee, his shoulder last year playing, it seems like he does. We should be okay.
Can he fair,
can he keep control?
Fair with his finger like this, and it was like bent like this.
Correct.
And didn't change his face or anything. And I think I would probably be a little grossed out myself. So he's got a little toughness.
I'd be freaking out a little bit more than he was, man. But I think that's the biggest thing tonight, man. And it comes out with, can you get off to a quick start? Can you do the X, Y, and Z like we're laying out? It all has to do with what's in here tonight. This team has not shown that they're prideful, has not shown that they have a heartbeat, a pulse in what feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
I want to see it tonight.
Yeah.
because again, we have higher goals than just getting out of the wild card round and beating Baker Mayfield
Yeah.
and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
And obviously, when it gets down to the nitty-gritty and it's the playoffs, however you survive in advance is A-okay with me, and we move on and we'll figure it out from there. But let's not kid ourselves to say if we see the same issues and the
Yeah.
same problems and they squeak by Tampa Bay 20-17 tonight, let's not act like we're going to be Mr. Confident heading into Detroit next Sunday, right?
Right. If Baker comes out
Almost
and
like,
torches
yes,
you.
you just need to
Yeah.
survive, but I'm looking for something extra because to something you
Show us you're
said in the
alive.
beginning of the show, they're the better team.
Yeah.
And it's not by a slim margin, Scotty. It is by a wide margin. If this disaster had not occurred over the last 6 weeks, and this was the first round playoff matchup, right, across the board out of what? Out of 6 games, this would be the biggest discrepancy between two teams in the wild card weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Buffalo and the Steelers, but this was a 7-point game up until 5 minutes. It would be one of the larger discrepancies, between these two teams heading into tonight. And I think that had they shown us to believe, had they given us reason to believe heading into this matchup, no, they really haven't. But have we taken it too far to act like Baker Mayfield's going to cook us tonight? That the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the better team than the Philadelphia Eagles?
That's where the excitement comes from, man. Obviously, it doesn't come from my just overbearing confidence in the Birds, but the excitement comes from getting to find out who this team really is. Like,
Yep.
are you going to show a pulse tonight? A
Yep.
pulse will win this game, right? A pulse will win a game against the Bucks, the 9-8 Bucks that scored 9 points against the Carolina Panthers last week in a win or go home situation to go to the postseason.
Yeah.
They also gave up 0 points, to be fair.
True.
2-14, 2-15, whatever, Carolina Panthers. But nonetheless, you come out here, show that you're alive. That's a start tonight. We get the W. You come out here and show us that you are who we thought you were at the beginning of this season.
Yeah.
You're going to be blowing this team out, man. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen. Just saying, if this team could reach the level that they were at earlier in this year, we saw them beat them by 14 points, right? It wouldn't call that a blowout, right? But winning by double digits.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, the Bucks scored a 2-point conversion late in the fourth quarter to make it even closer than it was. And then the Eagles capped it off with one of those Eagles drives, right? One of those run the ball, it's coming, you can't stop it, and we're going to run the rest of this clock out. That's how they left Tampa Bay in week 3.
Should be the same formula, man.
If it's not, we have the most dysfunctional coaching staff in National Football League history. If you are going against everything that worked in the first time around, if you are not adjusting throughout the game to what they're doing to you, this is the most dysfunctional group I've seen coach a contender in a very long time.
If they lose this game, Sirianni's gone for you. Is that
I
where
think
you're
so.
at? Or
because here's where my confidence level is at. They cannot lose this game if they're bought in tonight.
Yeah.
They will not lose this game if they're bought in tonight.
I agree with that, man. I agree.
They will lose this game if they have already quit on the head coach, or if this coaching staff again is dropping Jalen back 45 times and the defense and Matt Patricia can't get off the field on third downs. Well, then you deserve to lose your job there as well, because to your point, this Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense kicked 3 field goals in a big time game against the Carolina Panthers defense last week.
Yeah.
So you should be okay without AJ Brown tonight.
You should, man. You should. And that has been one thing this season, right? Like, obviously things unraveled last week.
And this is fair. This is fair.
But the offense has been put together this year. We've seen good outings from this unit. So it's not like everything is just all haywire. But, I mean, obviously, A.J. Brown, that's going to be the big hole tonight that, once again, guys have to step up.
And moving forward, like we cannot just –
we don't know.
Right. We cannot just ignore what the injury is. He
Maybe he
deleted
tweaks it.
everything on
Yeah,
social media. There's all these
you never
reports
know.
and articles coming out today. They still seem, from the outside looking in, like a dysfunctional group. Like they have
Yeah,
internal issues. Can they put whatever it is aside tonight? And again, I know we keep saying the phrase, but show a goddamn pulse and win this game.
yeah.
Going to find out in about 45 minutes, man. You mentioned it. I think we both agree. Jalen Hurts is the offensive player of the game for us here. It starts and ends with him. Yeah, we could talk about Devontae Smith getting involved. We could talk about having a Dallas Goedert game. Who's delivering them the football tonight? Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to for me tonight. He has to be better than he's been. I want to use the word special, but he doesn't have to be special to beat this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense.
Yeah.
He just has to play a good game, protect the football, and make the big time throws in the bigger moments of tonight's game, and they'll have success. But defensively, a lot more question marks. Who do you have on defense to step up tonight for the Eagles?
It's Hassan Reddick. I mean, it's him. He's the guy that's known to be the power force on that defensive line. He's the guy that gets to the quarterback double digits year after year now, right? And he's the guy that has to step up, right? We see it with every team. The Myles Garrett's got to step up, didn't step up and make a play in that game,
Micah
right?
Parsons.
Micah Parsons, you have to make plays for your team to get stops on defense. And I think a big part of that is going to be Hassan Reddick tonight, getting after Baker, shaking him up, hitting him. He is beat up as well, right? He has the rib injury, the ankle injury. Get him on his back, shake him up, rattle him tonight, and see if you can get some turnovers. I think that's where the interceptions come from, if they come tonight, is from guys like Hassan Reddick getting pressure on the quarterback and making him throw the ball a little bit sooner or a little bit faster than what he wants to, or where to a spot that he doesn't want to. But then also we know what he can do when he gets after the ball as well, when he's going after the quarterback, strip sacks after strip sack. Just make a play, man. That's all I'm asking for from Hassan Reddick tonight. Make the most of your opportunities when you get to go after Baker Mayfield tonight, man.
No, I agree with you. And real quick, I see there's about 26 people in here live right now with us, and we appreciate each and every one of you, and obviously everyone commenting. But guys, if you are new to this channel, please help support by smashing that subscribe button. We greatly, greatly appreciate all of you guys that tune in on a regular basis with us here, Ben. But, I agree, right? Hassan, again, this is your playmaker defensively. And I think, obviously, out of all the positions out there, he has the biggest leash to take over this game, right? Like linebackers say they can only do so much. Hassan Reddick can try to be involved in almost each and every play tonight, right? But I really want to go with one of these two corners. You got James Bradberry, for example, who this fan base, and I can't defend it. I can't disagree with it in the moment right now. This fan base thinks a rookie like Eli Ricks or Keely Ringo is a better, more viable option than James Bradberry. Bro, you need to show something tonight. And then you have Darius Slay.
Yeah.
Who has missed the last couple of weeks, is a captain of this defense, has rubbed this fan base the wrong way the last couple of weeks, found a way to continue those issues before he's even played another snap this past week. He has to step up tonight.
Yeah.
I'll go with Darius Slay. I think Darius Slay, A, has the much higher upside of potential to make plays tonight, maybe take one away from Baker Mayfield, maybe be more disruptive tonight. And B, even though Bradberry has a ton to prove, he's just remained James Bradberry. He's remained Mr. Cool, Mr. Silent. Slay's the one going out of his way, social media, podcast, stat padding, everything. Darius Slay has to make a play tonight.
The big thing for me with Bradberry tonight, quite honestly, is with the coaching staff. If you see Bradberry getting cooked early, it is time to go to Keely Ringo.
I agree.
Don't hesitate.
You don't got time to play around and and see if he can
what he's on when he comes
out,
out there, right? We can see what James Bradberry's on when he gets out there, hits the field tonight. He can start, but if he starts getting cooked by Chris Godwin or something's going on out there, whatever the case may be, don't hesitate if you're Matt Patricia, if you're Nick Sirianni, to get somebody else in there to try and give us a
I agree.
shot.
We
But
talked about
I
that
do
on
agree.
Friday,
Clay
right?
is that guy.
This is an all hands on deck situation. You're missing 2 starting safeties that moves pieces around in your defensive back room. You have to plug and play whatever is the better option tonight, man. Because look, we could talk about Baker Mayfield and how they're not a great whatever. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. They're a little older now. Maybe they're not as explosive as they once were when they were winning Super Bowls. They're still a hell of a 1-2 punch in the receiving corps.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know, man. They got to come out of this with the W, man. That's the biggest thing for me. Whatever you got to do. I'm just thinking back to the Super Bowl trip, and not the one from last year, but the one where they actually won. And I'm just thinking about all the different guys that made plays throughout that run. Right, it started in Atlanta, and Torrey Smith catches a pass off somebody's knee, Keanu Neal's knee. In the secondary, bounces off his knee, goes straight into Torrey Smith's hands right before the half. You get a much needed field goal before half. Corey Clement made plays throughout that playoff run. Trey Burton. I mean, the list goes on, right? Those guys weren't world beaters. Even Alshon Jeffrey, our best wide receiver. Zach Ertz might have been the best tight end at the time, but Alshon Jeffrey was not A.J. Brown, right? He was not Devontae Smith even.
Bro, Jordan Matthews came back for the 100th time and caught a touchdown pass in the divisional round against New Orleans Saints when they were the 1 seed.
These guys made plays, man. It doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't matter your status in the league at this point. It doesn't matter if you're Quez, if you're Olamide Zaccheaus. It does not matter. Make a play in this moment, and guess what? You get to be remembered forever, right? If it consists during a win. So, man, I'm looking for all of these guys. Make a name for yourself. Patrick Robinson gets a pick 6 against the Minnesota Vikings, right, in the NFC Championship game. Lives on forever in Eagles history. That's the type of stuff that we're asking for during this postseason run. Show a pulse and make some plays, man.
Yeah. All white jerseys.
Eli Ricks, you want to make a name? Take it to the house. Take a pick to the house tonight, and that's how you make a name for yourself. Covey, Covey, man, all of them.
Guys have been making plays all weekend. The Houston Texans had 2 pick 6s against Joe Flacco, right? Dak Prescott threw a pick 6 and an interception. Like, guys have been making plays throughout the weekend in on the biggest stage so far. You need someone on this team to find a way, at least one person on this team to do so, man. Oh boy, are they? Yeah, we've obviously been on here for the last 50 minutes. So yeah, I'm glad I get to miss that. Halftime stream. I'm a little too emotional during during games. So I don't want to come on and, even if they're losing by 3, say things I can't walk back because I'm pissed off at this team. Or be too high and start the celebration a little early and the positives a little early. And, maybe get ahead of myself. Possibly. I will talk to Scotty again. 30 of you, smash that subscribe button. We appreciate it. Possibly we do a post-game show if they win. I think a loss off the table. See you later. I'm going up to bed. A win. I'll text Scotty throughout the game. If you guys are up for it, make sure to join us back here on DSM Pregame Live. You will obviously see the live stream getting ready to be set up, man. But guys, let's go get ready for the Eagles Bucks wild card finish as they wrap up and get ready for the divisional round. Game picks. Drop your predictions. Drop your score predictions. Scotty, will the Eagles be heading to Detroit next weekend?
Yeah, they will. They're going to take care of business tonight. I do have the Eagles winning this game. I like 27-17, 10-point victory, double digits. Late score by Tampa Bay makes it a little closer than what we'd like, but I do like the Eagles to wake up tonight and show us something. 27-17. Just a few predictions across the board. Defense, looking for them. I'm predicting they get 2 turnovers tonight. Show us a little something. Bend but don't break. And then get the rushing game going. I would like to see Hurts and maybe Swift or Gainwell get into the end zone tonight. Show your dominance within the trenches. And then finally, Hassan Reddick, man, 2 sacks. Get on the board for me today, Hassan, and show that dominance as well. But yeah, I'm all in tonight, man. Let's go. We're gonna learn who this team is tonight. That's where most of my excitement comes
I
from.
agree. You're
No
gonna
matter
find
what,
out one
no
way
more
or another.
speculating.
Yeah,
We'll
one
find
way
out.
or another, man. We are on here tomorrow or whenever and figuring out some offseason plans and changes that need to be made to this organization, or we're on to Detroit and this team showed us another gear. I'm going to say something I know I can't take back in 5 seconds, but for some reason, Nick Sirianni is coaching for his life tonight. Brian Johnson is being asked to interview for teams' head coaching vacancies across the league right now. Jalen Hurts, banged up, injured, shorthanded, getting a lot of criticism. This offense is going to put up 31 tonight. Well, maybe the offense doesn't just put up 31. Maybe there's a defensive touchdown or a special teams touchdown, but the Eagles will put up 31 points tonight, and they'll take a victory 31-20. And we'll be heading to Detroit, and we'll be talking about it all throughout the week. On to Detroit. Let's take care of business here first tonight, my man. I'll be talking to you guys hopefully after the show, like we said. But for myself, for Scotty, if you're new to the channel, if you like the content, please, please, please smash that subscribe button on this YouTube channel. It's the best spot to be involved with the show or enjoy all of our content here at DSM. Have a great rest of your night, and go Birds.
Go